Hey guys, this is Emily. I'm just going to go over some things regarding placing copy in your layout and InDesign for the magazine project. And I have gone into the sample articles and I'm just grabbing the copy here. I'm not copying everything, I'm just getting the main content, not the recipes or anything. So I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to look here at this layout. Let's open a new document to get that set up. And of course we're doing this for print. Each page is letter size so that when they are facing pages, they will print a spread view, which is 11 by 17 or tabloid. So I am just going to do this as a sample. And we are working in picas here. So this is letter size. We're keeping our orientation portrait or vertical. We're going to do 5 pages here, facing pages, starting with page 1. We're doing 12 columns. If you want your gutters to be a little wider, 1 pica 2 points is another standard size. Margins, those have to be custom, so make sure that you are doing that, and the inside margin needs to be a little bigger. And I'm actually making my bottom ones. I personally like to put my folios just right underneath the text margin line, so they don't need to be too big. Why is it going back to 5? I don't know why it's doing that, but anyway, I'm just going to do that. And then the bleed margin, let's do that 1/4 of an inch. There we go. Okay, so your page will look something like this. So we'll have the cover of the magazine itself here, and then we have our opening spread and our jump spread for the feature article. Alright, so I'm not really going into the cover design right now. I'm just going to talk about placing copy, mostly concerning your body copy, which is a lot of your time that's going to be spent is going to be working with the copy and getting it adjusted and working well to unify the page here. And I'm going to also kind of set something up as if we were doing maybe an opening spread. And I'm just going to go ahead, and pull down. I'm going to make a big image here. So I'm just going to place a frame here. And I'm going to pull it in to about right there. That'll leave us enough room to start a column of type and to have a dynamic opening page here. And we're going to, you know, kind of put a mock header here. So I'm actually going to put in 2 boxes. So you can actually make the bounding box kind of tight here, and then use your Command Shift keys to adjust here. And I'm just going to press the Option key and duplicate that to create my second one. It's just going to say header. And I'm going to scale it a little smaller. So if you, with your main header and headline and things, you know, you can put different separate words in separate boxes to create a dynamic, you know, design for that. But now that we're getting, and you might have the deck here and a byline or the credit to the author and the opening image here. Again, if all of your images came from the same source or one single source, then you can just credit that once here with the byline. And that's all you have to worry about. So I'm going to go to the type tool here. And I'm going to create also a text box. Our frame ends right here along this edge of the gutter, and I'm going to put the text box, I'm going to start it, I'm actually going to move it in. Well, it's basically 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the gutter over. So I'm going to put that as our first. I'm going to keep it a little bit above the bottom text margin line, because after I put the folios down here, and if I hug that text margin line, I still need space between it and where the copy stops here. So let's say we have our deck and our byline above this, but we're starting the copy here. Now when I double click, it's ready to place copy. So since I've copied the article, we're not going to use all the copy, but I want to have it so I can continue this text box onto the jump spread. So now I'm going to paste this. And I don't know why it always goes to this default. Use this little sans serif here. Okay, so this right here, now we're working in 12 points, and it's pretty big. So we'll look at that in a moment. But if you notice right now, it's placing the whole article. I can tell I've got a overset type error here. It's showing me I have an error. The plus sign here is my indicator of that. It's saying I have more type in this box than what is visible. But I want to continue this box for the purpose of being, really easy to edit all this. So I'm going to click on, I'm in my selection tool, I'm going to click on that plus sign, and I'm just basically carrying this type to the next box I create. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the gutter. We're making them the equal widths. And I'm going to pull this down to about what I had over there. And I'm just going to continue this where I would want type. So I may place an image here, so I'm going to put it at the same width that it is from the image on the opening spread. And so now I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in your pop-up guides will also come up and let you know when you have the same width. You look underneath the green line, and then it'll also let you know when you have met level with the other boxes. So since I have more room over here, I could hug this outside margin, or I could grab both of these boxes and have them hug the inside margin. So either way, like, you have some white space there to work with. I'm just going to continue with what we were doing before, and I'm going to continue this box still. So I'm going to start this, the same spot, just mirrored on the other side. Here's my width, here's my height, and there may be a sidebar over here, or another image, or there may, we might be placing an image above all this. So this may be all the body copy on the jump spread. And so that last box that you create, we're imagining this article would be continuing in the magazine. But since you are only responsible for the first 4 pages, we can let that copy continue. So you don't have to end it at a period. It can just continue here as if the type were going further in the magazine. So that is the one error that is okay to have on this particular assignment. Now the whole reason, again, of putting this in a continual separate boxes here is so that any box that I click on or double click on to access the type, if I select all of it, it's going to go to all of those boxes and allow me to edit all of it at once instead of having to go to each one and apply those settings over and over again. So right now, 12 points is pretty big in magazine layout. Most typefaces look too big when they are that size. So I'm going to go down to 10 points. This is a particularly large sans serif font. So I'm going to go down a little bit further. So I can go down to 10 points. And I'm going to give it a little more room between the lines to make it more easily readable here. So my leading assignment in general is 14 points there. My size is 10 points. And so that's everywhere that I have boxes for it. So now if I look closely, that's looking a lot better. Now for the separate paragraphs, you can, if you separate the paragraphs with the space, you can alter that space too. It doesn't necessarily have to be 14 points. It could be 10 points or 9 points. You know, you can bring it closer and still have a separation. So if you decide to do that with each paragraph, you don't necessarily have to indent the paragraphs if you do it that way. And you can adjust the leading by going into that empty line and selecting a sliver of it. And then you can go up or down. So say we wanted it set solid here at 10 points. So 10 points is still a good separation. And it is plenty of room. So if you do that, then of course you're going to have to do that with all of the other. Now this one goes with selling suggestions, so we could still make that a little closer probably, because that's a main kind of not a main header, but a subheader, main subheader that comes into a section that has these subheaders after it. Word of mouth, it's like a listing description here. So you might want to change the leading here to be just a little tighter for proximity purposes. And then this one would be the same, 10 points. Oops. Same here. So you would just adjust that everywhere where there's a separate paragraph. Another way you can separate your paragraphs is to not have a space there at all and then indent. And so when we do that, we do it a little differently than what we did in your resume project. Instead of using custom tabs to do a custom indentation, we're going to just go over to the paragraph window and we are going to go second from the top on the left over here and put your cursor where the paragraph starts, and then you can up in points however many points you want to indent. General rule of thumb there is don't go any further than the size of the type. So my size of my type here is 10 points, so I'm going to stay under 10 points indentation. So that's 9 points. That's usually a good standard indentation there. You can definitely tell it's there and tell where the new paragraph starts. Now these are going to be subheaders, so I'm going to leave those alone. This one, on the other hand, well, maybe do. We'll just do that. And we're about to tweak the copy even more. So this paragraph right here. And I'm going to select all the type again because see all these hyphenated words that are every other line? We're going to click to not hyphenate those. And if it's a hyphenated word anyway, it will automatically keep the hyphenation. And you want to make sure that you are watching out for widows, like lonely little words on the bottom of a paragraph. When you use your spacebar key, it will automatically adjust the rag line on the side here and help you out. That is another paragraph right there. Okay. There we go. Alright, and here we have another widow. So just kind of work those out. You can see that it's trying to fix the ragline there. Sometimes when it has a large word, it will take a moment to figure that out. And most of the time when you have those patterns of consistency with your leading and the spacing and things like that, you are going to see a nice alignment, you know, with your baselines here at the bottom. Now this one is not exactly lined up, but we can kind of work with that and see if we can get that to work better. So you could either pull this down and see if that helps things. I can also grab both of these and just go up a little bit with them and position. And I can bring my guides down to see how that's working. And that seems to be aligning the bottoms up really nicely there. But before you even adjust that, make sure all your text is kind of set up. Like I would go ahead and enlarge these headers and do what I'm going to do there with them, like that. You might, you know, be using specific colors. And things like that. So go ahead and do that. That might adjust the position of the type and throw your alignments off. So just be mindful. And then your drop cap will cause some shifting as well. We want a drop cap, so that would be a good place to do the drop cap. So we can check, and it looks like everything's lining up pretty well now. Sometimes you'll end up with, you know, like if we had these boxes and so they were shorter to where you had just one sentence here, or vice versa, you had the end of a paragraph and then the last sentence to the next column. You know, so you want to make that work as well when you're talking about, you know, unifying and making a nice flow to how it reads. You don't want those awkward breaks in positioning of words. So just be mindful of those things. And that looks pretty good. So that's generally that's the easiest and most, I guess, effective way efficient way of laying out your copy to where you don't have to adjust things separately from box to box. So this will be a good guide in doing that. So good luck and thanks.